The royal family prepares for Trooping of the Color, and Gareth Russell breaks down everything you need to know about the annual event.
Traditionally, in the first one of a new reign is a bit punchier and has a higher production value. So that we know that all 7 of the regiments will be there, and this is more.
Plus, Prince William jokes with a patient about Princess Kate as they gear up for a trip to Scotland.
I'm so excited. I'm hoping for a little bit of glamour. It might just be a formal day event, we shall see, but it is a really exciting, another big historical event.
And Prince Harry is back in California after his court appearance, as he is not invited to King Charles's birthday celebration.
Maybe it's a reflection on the state of relationships. Maybe it's just, again, this slimmed down monarchy idea, but it'll definitely be a change from the balcony appearance that we're used to.
We've got that plus so much more on today's Royally Us. Hello to our fellow royal lovers, and welcome to Royally Us. I'm Christina, that's Christine, and welcome to another big week of royal news as we gear up for the Trooping of the Color, one of our favorite annual events.
I know we're getting into summer. It's really, really hot in the UK right now. So it's starting to feel the excitement of these big summer events with trooping, with the garter service. Maybe there's some garden parties this summer too. There's so much to look forward to.
Lots to look forward to. Before we get into it, as always, let's see what you guys said to last week's show. Sandy says, let's get real. Baby Ernest is absolutely gorgeous. Yes, it's such a cute little baby. And we're going to get some more information about his name coming up a little bit later on.
We always love a royal baby.
Love a royal baby. Margaret says, I think he will win on 1 or 2 points, talking about Prince Harry. Says, I just wonder how much money he will get from this. Well, Nima Rahmani, our resident royal lawyer, has been weighing in, and he said that he feels like he'll get a substantial amount in damages. So we'll see.
It's going to be so interesting just to watch it play out. I think this is going to be like a big, long, lengthy, played out process.
Definitely. And then Nikki says talking about Meghan and Harry, they need their titles taken. Everyone needs to stand up to them and say, you live in America now. We don't recognize royal titles. Parliament and the king need to address this issue because we all do not want them monetizing the titles they don't deserve. How can 2 people not live in the UK, not be working royals, wanting to leave the monarchy, but still continue to use them? So I guess anyone can use the title. So I'm going to be Duchess of Newfoundland from now on. Haha. I think this is an argument that a lot of people are making. Why can they monetize off their titles, still going by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex? And it seems a bit unfair to a lot of people.
It's interesting because, historically, people who have sort of stepped away from their royal roles, if you will, have just sort of quietly, lived a quiet, semi-private life. This is the first time really that we're seeing someone in this space, try and make their own career, forge a career after this, huge change. So it's definitely something that I think needs to be figured out, maybe actually handled a bit more seriously than just letting them get on with it.
Definitely. We'll see if that happens a bit later on. But for right now, we're focusing on Trooping of the Color, and Prince William was leading the rehearsals for his father's big birthday parade. He cast his eye over the last big practice before Trooping the Color, the annual, obviously, public celebration of the British, of King Charles. And this is his first time as king that we're going to be celebrating. So Prince William proudly ensured that the Welsh Guards Regiment, of which he's honorary colonel, and the others from the household division were well prepared for this upcoming Saturday's parade. The Welsh Guards had the honor of Trooping Color at the parade this year, and their flag will be presented in front of the king. Now, this was actually kind of scary. So one day later, a British soldier continued playing the trombone after he fainted while rehearsing for the parade. He was literally on the ground playing. According to BBC News, one of the band members collapsed while practicing because, like you mentioned before, there's some extreme heat conditions. He regained consciousness moments later and stood back up to resume playing his instrument before he was escorted away for medical assistance. That is dedication. Prince William personally tweeted about the incident, saying a big thank you to every soldier who took part in the colonel's review this morning in the heat. Difficult conditions, but you all did a really good job. Thank you. So more than 1,500 soldiers, 300 horses from the household division of Welsh, Irish, Scottish, and lots of others will be paraded during the parade. So it's going to be a really big event, and Gareth is going to break down exactly what it is, how long it's been going on, and what we can expect a little bit later.
Yeah, but again, it's such an interesting ceremony to watch. If you can ever get tickets, even just to the rehearsal, lots of people dress up, there's lots of hats. So it is a really, really really cool event. I love one thing that I noticed was that Prince William used to be Colonel of the Irish Guards, and so his uniform had a shamrock on it. And we noticed this time that it actually had a leek, which is the symbol for the Welsh Guards. So everything, we're seeing all these little changes, aren't we? We're talking about it, how there's all these little changes over time of all the history that's being made over the last few years. But yet those poor soldiers, those are wool uniforms, bearskin hats, and it is very, very hot and sunny outside.
Very, very hot and sunny. And, they were reporting that what's going to make this occasion even more special is that King Charles will actually ride horseback during the parade. Now, this is the first time that this has happened since 1986 when Queen Elizabeth last rode. So it's been quite some time. So this will be something to see as well.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait for Gareth to sort of give us the real historical details on this, because Trooping the Colour is actually a really, really historic, really, really interesting event. It's a very, very British institution. I'm looking forward to getting into it later.
Definitely. All right. Well, Kate and William are heading to Scotland next month for Edinburgh's celebration of King Charles and Queen Camilla's coronation. The Scottish government announced that their nation will mark the coronation on July 5th during Royal Week in Edinburgh, that the king will be presented with the Honours of Scotland, which is informally known as the Scottish Crown Jewels, including the Crown of Scotland, the Sceptre, and the Sword of State. The government added that the Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Rothesay, will also attend the events. So something to look forward to as they head on over to Scotland to celebrate the coronation in beginning of July.
Yes, so the Duke and Duchess of Rothesay is obviously William and Kate. Those are their titles when they're in Scotland. It's interesting now that they are Prince and Princess of Wales, they're taking on a much bigger role in these sort of ceremonial events. If you think about it, if the Queen did something similar, she would take Prince Charles with her. And now we sort of have to, adjust our expectations in a good way and say, oh, well, now if King Charles does those things, it's William and Kate who go with them. So I'm so excited. I'm hoping for a little bit of glamour. It might just be a formal day event. We shall see, but it is a really exciting, another big historical event.
Another big historical event. Mark your calendars, July 5th. Well, this story will definitely warm everybody's hearts because Prince William met with a patient who gave Princess Kate his seal of approval. I'm sure William was waiting for this. So he stepped out to open the Oak Cancer Center at the Royal Marsden. It's a new cancer research and treatment center. He became president of the hospital and its sister centers back in 2007, following in the footsteps of his mother, Princess Diana, who also supported the facility and frequently made visits. So during the visit, William met a man who has been treated there along with his wife. The man definitely had a sense of humor, telling William, "You're a bit tall. You're a tall bugger, aren't you?" And immediately after shaking his hand. So take a look and see what he had to say about Kate.
Yeah, and your wife's not bad. She's a nice lady as well.
He's a chatty one, I think. He knows he's got her eye on you.
I love this. I'm sure when they meet a lot of people, it's a very formal meeting and they don't really get to joke around, but this guy definitely had some fun with it and you love to see it.
Absolutely. You do see people get so nervous. How many times have we seen Kate reassure people, no, don't be nervous. It's nice to meet you. So I think to have someone who's maybe a bit more relaxed and can make a joke is probably a relief for them. They can take a sigh of relief as well. But yeah, I love this. I love these cute comments that we see at these events.
These cheeky events. I love it. Well, the Princess of Wales was hailed as compassionate after she promised to wear a pair of star-shaped earrings made in memory of a teenage rugby player who took her own life after meeting the girls' mother at an engagement this week. So Kate appeared visibly moved and emotional as she spoke to Sarah Renton, whose daughter, Izzy Phipps, who was 17, she tragically passed away on late May. In a touching moment, she presented the princess with earrings made in Izzy's honor by her cousin. She's a founder of a jewelry, an independent jewelry line, and proceeds of the sales of the earrings are going to mental charity Brave Mind, which supports children through the platform of rugby clubs. And Kate promised to support the cause by wearing the earrings. And this definitely was a touching moment. And the woman spoke about it and said that it was just so nice for Kate to do this. And you can see how moved she was by all of this.
It was a really, really moving moment. And, Kate was at this event with playing rugby and talking about mental health and how sports can sort of help you, keep you mentally healthy. And so this was really a great example of the impact that Kate can have. The earrings are still for sale. The website is called Earsass. It's the UK. They do ship internationally. And I checked right before we recorded. They are still available. They're back ordered, but they're still available. But this is an amazing example of the Kate effect. How many pairs of earrings, how much money will now go to this charity to support young people who might find themselves, in a similar situation. So it was so moving. I mean, the photos of Kate hugging this bereaved mother were really touching. And now we can sort of put some good to it by supporting the charity and buying a pair of earrings that Kate says she will wear.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. If you can buy the earrings or make a donation, like you said, all the earrings are going to mental charity Brave Mind, which supports children going through some mental health issues. So definitely a good cause. And like you said, I'm sure the Kate effect will be in full effect.
Full effect.
And hopefully it does. All right. Well, let's move on and spill some royal tea. Prince Harry is back in California following his testimony against Mirror Group's newspapers. However, he will not be turning back around to attend the trooping since he was not invited. The Daily Mail reports that it will be the first time in Harry's life that he has not been welcome at the monarch's official birthday celebrations, with the source telling the publication, "I'm afraid it's a reflection of the state of relations at the moment." This comes as Sunday Times Roya Nika says that the King Charles has become increasingly exasperated by Harry's actions, with the source saying, "The King brings Harry up every time I see him. I don't think we've moved past sad and bewildered, but there's a bit more frustration at his behavior because it just keeps going." Not so surprised that he is not invited to this. It seems like probably everybody after the coronation may be taking a step back.
Yeah, I think so. I think this might be more of a sign of, this slimmed down monarchy that King Charles is really, really keen to establish. We'll probably see the major working members of the royal family, but we won't hopefully see Prince Andrew. We're not going to see Harry or Meghan. This is really going to be a representation of the British royal family that's working for the people. And maybe it's a reflection on the state of relationships. Maybe it's just, again, this slimmed down monarchy idea, but it'll definitely be a change from the balcony appearance that we're used to.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And even when he was in town recently for the court appearance, reports that he stayed at Frogmore Cottage, but it doesn't seem like there was any interaction with him and his family. And not surprising, there was no interaction between him and his family really at the coronation. So it doesn't, I don't know. I don't know where they go from here. I really don't.
I don't, it's families can be so tricky and difficult. And I just hope that Harry's happy with the life he's built, because the royals are clearly keeping calm and carrying on without him.
Exactly. All right. Well, like we've been talking about, Trooping the Color is right around the corner. And to help us break down exactly what it is our friend Gareth Russell, royal historian, encyclopedia of all royal history news. So take a look at this. So for people that don't know, what exactly is Trooping the Color?
So it's an old tradition. It really goes back to the reign of Charles II, who was king from 1660 until 1685. It is held to commemorate the sovereign's birthday, and it is when a group of regiments called the Household Division, and the 7 regiments, 5 foot, 2 cavalry, who sort of take it on rota, guarding official royal residences, and of course the king and queen primarily. They will have a parade from Buckingham Palace down the Mall to Horse Guard Parade, where they'll be inspected by the king. And it really, as a tradition, started taking place in the reign of George II, but it was the reign of his grandson George III where it became an annual tradition for the monarch to do this. So it's a big show, really. I mean, it's not a politically or culturally significant in the way the coronation was, but it's an annual tradition. It brings a large crowd to see it, and also it's a chance for those 7 regiments to sort of get together and also to be formally acknowledged by the monarchy for the role they play throughout the year in guarding them. Where the phrase comes from, Trooping the Color, is that back when this started in the reigns of Charles II and George II, the way you rallied a regiment was by holding up the regimental flag in battle, and that was known as their colours, sort of their heraldic device or shield. But basically, you communicated or tried to rally your troops in the battlefield by holding up the regimental symbol and flag. And a key part of that was making sure the soldiers serving in that regiment were familiar with what the flag looked like. So often in peacetime, there would be trooping, that you would troop the colour up and down past the troops. And it would be officers who would carry it, or different members of the regiment, so that the regimental officers, and the soldiers could get used to the sight of it. And that's where that pageantry originates from, a pretty practical 17th and 18th century tradition.
Now, this year we've been told we're expecting 1,500 soldiers, 300 horses, 400 musicians. Is this traditionally what it's always been? Has it always been this sort of military? It is almost a spectacle. Now it's almost a performance. Has it always looked like this?
It has always had the ingredients to look like this. This is a slightly spectacular version of it. So this is definitely not the matinee performance of Tripping Off the Colour. This traditionally in the first one of a new reign is a bit punchier and has a higher production value. So that we know that all 7 of the regiments will be there. And this is more than we're used to seeing. Also, quite interestingly, King Charles III will be it'll be the first time that a monarch has taken the salute on horseback since 1986. And later his mother, because of advancing age, decided to take the salute from the carriage. That probably is where a lot of your viewers or listeners will have seen the image more. They'll have a more recognizable image in their head, of Elizabeth II in the carriage. And often you will see the full royal family coming out. We have photographs, of the Queen Mother with Princess Diana and Prince William and Prince Harry for ones in the 1980s. So it's a big event regardless of the scale of it. But because this is the first of Charles III's reign, we are seeing more soldiers involved, and we're also seeing the king, he turns 75 soon, taking the salute personally.
We talked about how Trooping the Colour is sort of the annual celebration of the monarch's birthday. However, neither Queen Elizabeth II nor King Charles III have a birthday on a sunny Saturday in June. What can you tell us about that? Why are we celebrating this now?
Great question. So there is this sort of harkens back to one of the phrases that people find so ridiculous and or interesting, depending on how you wanted to look at it during the coronation, which is "May the King live forever." And obviously, no one is suggesting that Charles III or Elizabeth II will live forever. But really, this dates in the Middle Ages, although interestingly, other monarchies did it as well. China used to refer to the emperor as the Lord of 10,000 years. It didn't suggest that they literally thought that the monarch would be eternal or live for 10,000 years. Basically, the king is always alive, or the monarch is always alive. Charles III and Elizabeth II died, just George VI and all the kings before them did, but the monarch always lives. And so there didn't really seem to be much need to shift the monarch's birthday. And really, this was a moment of picking what was traditionally a weekend with the best weather. So it was merging medieval political theory with resolutely practical British fear of a washed out rainy weekend that led to this weekend being picked and sticking with it. And we know what it's like with Britain and the traditions. Once they find something that works, they're just going to stick with it. minor details like not being born at that time will not. And this actually goes for fans of Bridgerton or Queen Charlotte. There's an even slightly wilder birthday tradition that goes back to debutante season in the 1780s, and King George III threw a huge birthday party for Queen Charlotte, and all the debutantes would come and curtsy to Queen Charlotte standing by her, colossal birthday cake. And the party became such a big hit that they kept repeating it every year. And even when Queen Charlotte died in 1818, they didn't think it was any excuse to cancel the party. So Queen Charlotte's birthday party kept going for well over a century after she died, and people just curtsied to the cake. So certainly there's precedent here for just keeping a good party going regardless of dates.
Well, we know who will not be there, Meghan and Harry. There's been reports that they have not been invited. What are your thoughts on that? And have you heard that as well?
I don't think they need to be invited, not as a kind of insult to either of them, but it's a long trip to make for this from California for the sake of Trooping the Colour. They're also not working royals anymore, and I think there was a lot of will they, won't they for the coronation, and I don't suppose either party particularly wants to restart the toing and froing again. So no, I think this is one of the events where the Sussexes were never going to be invited. Certainly, I think there have Prince Harry has been back, but it has each time been a flying visit for his court case appearances. But no, my money would always have been on them not being invited to things like the Trooping of the Colour. Obviously, the coronation was a much bigger event, a generational event in terms of significance for the royal family. But I don't think it should necessarily be seen as an indicator of a sentiment either way. I just don't think there was any question they were ever going to be invited to this.
He has been sort of had a couple of quick visits for these court cases.
Yeah.
Do you think he's spent any time with his family when he's been here?
No. That was, I think, was confirmed in the press yesterday, or maybe the day before, off recording for this. I think he hasn't, from what we can tell, spent any time one-on-one with the family. It is worth pointing out that the visits have been very short, to the point that I think the judge was a little perplexed by his. So, I mean, this might be the same in the United States, but in the UK, with court cases like this, if you're going to take the stand, you're sort of expected to be available the day before your appointed time, because the court, everyone knows a court schedule can't always run as hoped or timetabled. And Prince Harry was in California for his child's 4th birthday party, and I think the judge was a little bit. Well, the judge said no, he should have been ready for the day before. Whether that just hadn't been communicated to Prince Harry by his legal team or not, I don't know. But certainly it did indicate that the visits have been very short, and that really Prince Harry is there to take the stand for what he considers to be an important matter. So I don't think there's been time and potentially inclination to see his family. Certainly, I mean, the dust had barely settled on the tiaras by the time Prince Harry had left for the coronation. So I don't think his actions would indicate anyway. I don't think he's wildly keen to see his family, and possibly vice versa. Who knows?
It will definitely be a fun event, and we will be breaking it all down next week. All right, let's move on to our pint-sized palace and check in to see what's going on with the royal kiddos. And it turns out that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's son, Prince Archie, celebrated his 4th birthday with a special present, a new bike. So Mad Dog's Bike Shop in Montecito, California, wrote on Instagram, sharing a note that they received from Harry and Meghan saying, "We hope they don't mind us sharing." I'm sure they did. "This lovely thank you letter we received today." The message was printed on the Office of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex letterhead and was posted on June 6th, as Harry and Meghan sent their sincere thanks to the British boutique owners of their thoughtful gift. The note read, "The bike has brought much joy and is much appreciated by the family. They ask that I convey their gratitude at the lovely surprise." The letter was signed by Harrison Calcord, who works for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Seems like that's a lovely birthday gift, and I'm sure Archie is enjoying riding around the Montecito estate.
Definitely. I mean, we're not going to fault a little boy for being excited by a new bicycle. How exciting, especially at that age. This is such an interesting difference in their new lives now, because traditionally members of the royal family don't really accept gifts that have been sent to them. It can create sort of a gray area of supporting brands or not supporting brands. But it's great that Archie sort of benefited from this and was able to have, a shiny new bike to ride around.
Definitely. So cute. I'm sure it's adorable, but we need some pictures. We really haven't seen any pictures of these in a long time. All right. Well, moving on to Sarah Ferguson. She was brought to tears by Princess Eugenie's thoughtful tribute with the new baby name. As we know, Sarah just launched her new podcast, Tea Talks with the Duchess and Sarah. So her co-host, Sarah Thompson, congratulated her on the birth of her new grandbaby, who was born on May 30th. She said he is very, very seriously beautiful little boy. Now, of course, everyone says that, but of course he is. Doting Granny, doting Gigi, and beautiful grandparents. Gigi, I'm Gigi, so that must be her nickname as a grandma. She is Gigi. She said he's done very, very well. He's called Ernest George Ronnie. He's Ernest because George III's middle name was Ernest, and also because it's a fabulous name. It'll be good in Spain when we come to a villa, Ernesto, and shedding more light on the little one's name, she said. And then George after Jack's father, and Ronald Ronnie after my father, which was really touched. When Jack and Eugenie told me, it was so moving that they put my dad in there. It was very kind. I thought, made me cry, of course. So now we got a little bit of a backstory on the name, and I love when it ties into a family. It's so nice.
I do. It's really lovely. I'm excited for Sarah's podcast. So maybe we can get more of these little royal tidbits because it's lots of fun. And she seems just like any other grandmother, sort of being excited about her new grandbaby. It's really charming.
Really charming. And keep those pictures coming because we love a royal baby. More baby pictures.
Love a royal baby.
Love a royal baby. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Royally Us. Like you said, we will be recapping everything Trooping the Color coming up next week. And keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye. For more news content and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.